Ok, bienvenidos a un tutorial de por y para, una explicación. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to explain por y para as concisely and as clearly as possible. Your textbook does give its own explanation, and I might actually go a little bit beyond what it is that your textbook shows you, but that's okay. I think it will help to understand por y para hopefully very well, get a better idea how to use it as opposed to just what you're reading in your textbook, which can be a bit confusing at times. So remember that the Mosaicos textbook will show you por y para on page 111 and continues its explanation of the rules on page 112. So por y para is very important. And we only use it in one way in English, and that is for. Okay? So unlike English, Spanish has two words that mean for. Por and para. These two prepositions are not interchangeable. They're not. You use each one in specific circumstances, okay? So you use por for certain instances, and para will also be used in certain instances. Okay, so let's go ahead and study the following charts to see how they are used. So what I'm going to do on this video is I think this is a great slideshow. However, I'm not going to read word for word everything. I think that actually could be distracting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up each slide. I'm going to explain the main parts of it, and I'll try to leave it up for a few extra seconds. So as you're going through studying this video, if you want to, the best way might be when you get to a slide that you want to study and to compare, you might just want to go ahead and pause it, click pause on the video, and you can have that slide right there for you to read over, take notes, compare to what you have in your textbook. I think this could be a pretty productive way to study if you want to. Okay, so let's continue. So let's look here. A brief comparison between por y para. So with por and para right here, we start out looking at movement. So through or by a place. La excursión nos llevó por el centro. Movement with para is used more towards a destination. Mis amigos van para el estadio. Another comparison, looking at time, we look at the duration of an event, we use por. Ana navegó la red por 2 horas. Action deadline. Tengo que escribir un ensayo para mañana. Okay. Now, looking here at an action, when we use por, we use it to describe a reason or motive for an action or circumstance. Llegué a casa tarde por el tráfico. So that's the reason why I got home late. Okay? Por el tráfico. However, with para, we see it used to indicate as an indication of for whom something is intended or done. All right? Estoy preparando una sorpresa para Eduardo. Okay? So this is something that I'm doing for. It's intended for Eduardo. Okay, so here's a complete list of all the uses of por and para. Okay, so we see here, por is used to indicate the following. Okay, so I'll explain a couple of important features of this, but I'm really going to leave it here for you guys to have access to be able to study for a few seconds longer, okay? So feel free to pause at any point during this video and to study. So number one, movement. Motion or general location. 2. Time, duration of an action. 3. Action, reason or motive for an action. 4. Object of a search. Por is also used to indicate 5, means by which something is done. Number 6, exchange or substitution. And finally, 7, unit of measure. Atención! Por is also used in several idiomatic expressions, including, okay, so your textbook on page 111 shows you a few of these. But for example, por aquí, just like around here. ¿Dónde está tu amigo? Mi amigo está por aquí. Where do you live? ¿Dónde vives? Vivo por aquí. Okay, por ejemplo. So just like we use for example, comma, I can always say por ejemplo, etc. Por eso. This is referring to like that's why. Okay? So if I say I'm hungry, that's why I go to McDonald's. Okay? Tengo hambre. Por eso voy a McDonald's. Por fin. This is saying finally. So, finally you're here. Por fin estás aquí. And again, we have a couple other idiomatic expressions on page 111 of Mosaicos. Okay, so let's look at para now. Para is used to indicate the following. Number 1, movement, destination. Number 2, time, or a deadline, or a specific time in the future. Number 3, action, purpose or goal, plus infinitive. So, for example, Juan estudia para ser mecánico. Okay? To be a mechanic. Okay? Purpose. Number 4 is purpose plus a noun. Number 5, the recipient of something. And number 6, comparison with others or an opinion. And finally, number 7, in the employment of, or for. In many cases, it is grammatically correct to use either por or para in a sentence. The meaning of the sentence is different, however, depending on which preposition is used. Okay, and see, we have here, this is more information than what we really need right now, because this is talking about the past tense. We are not there yet, not to worry about it. I just wanted to put it in here so that you have a look at por versus para and its different uses. Okay, so let's go back here very quickly. I just want to remind you that what I have given you in this tutorial might be more information than you really need at the moment if you are studying and with my Galveston Spanish 1 course. Okay, the book is not quite there yet, but this is just a little bit more in-depth description than what the pages 111 and 112 of Mosaicos give. So go ahead, if you have any questions, let me know. If you're confused in any way, send me a message, Skype me. I'll be happy to discuss this with you in detail. Okay, guys, que tengan un muy buen día. Muchas gracias. Nos vemos pronto. Chao.